Today we're diving into a topic that can be a real pain in the neck. Welcome back to the channel, everyone. We're talking about the worst paint colors for hiding imperfections. Let's face it, we all have those pesky wall bumps, the dents, the cracks that we wish would just disappear. Maybe the original builder didn't have a great wallpaper, and now you have all these weird lines going through your wall. I hate it. With the right paint color choices and paint product choices, you can minimize the impact that they have on you day to day as you walk by them and just stare at them. So before we get into this video, please hit that like and subscribe button, and don't forget to click that little bell, because that bell notifies you when new content comes out from us. You don't want to miss any of this, do you? Let's get right into what to avoid if you want to minimize the look of your nicks and knots and bumps and bumps on your walls. The first one, of course, has to be glossy finishes. Regardless of what color you're choosing, glossy finishes, they can look shiny, they can look beautiful, they can look regal, but they can definitely accentuate imperfections like bumps and dents. They're like a magnifying glass for your wall's flaws. They just highlight them in just clear, glossy goodness. Think of it like trying to hide a little blemish with some glitter. I mean, it just draws more attention to it. Be mindful of the finish you're using. If you want to have the max amount of imperfection hidage, go with matte or even a washable flat if you can. Because even though you're sacrificing a little bit of washability with those flatter finishes, you're making up for it with that lovely imperfection hiding action. The next one is going to be dark colors. I find dark colors can make imperfections more noticeable, especially if they're uneven or textured. For whatever reason, whenever I wear a white t-shirt or a black t-shirt, I tend to get stains on them and they're more visible than not. By going somewhere in the middle, like a nice mid-tone, I think that actually feels like the best way to hide imperfections. And typically most people do use mid-tone colors on their walls anyway, so that works out. Another thing would be high contrast colors. So if you have a light colored wall and then you paint your trim a very dark color, the contrast alone can highlight any imperfections between the two. It's like putting a spotlight on the flaw because one is accentuating the other in a way. So just be careful about that. And then of course, bright neon colors. These colors can be so intense that they make any imperfections stand out like sore thumbs because you're just drawn to these neon signs on the wall basically. And then it's going to cause you to fixate on whatever is happening on those walls. And if there's nothing good happening on them, there's all these bumps and scratches and scrapes. Just making up words at this point. You want to go with something a little more subtle and neutral so they're mellowed out and they just kind of blend into one another. We briefly touched on it, but let's be clear. What are the things that you can do to hide these imperfections as best as possible? Of course, flat or matte finishes. These finishes have a velvety texture that can help disguise bumps and dents. Think of it like using matte foundation to cover blemishes. Not that I wear makeup, but I know a little bit about it. Because matte finishes aren't reflective, they're not reflecting any texture on the wall, which is great. Definitely the number one recommendation, go as flat as you can. Next, go with neutral colors. Lighter mid-tone neutrals, like your beiges, your light grays, even your light taupes, can help blend in with the imperfections, making them less noticeable. A bit of a camouflage effect that they have. And also, if you are going with gray, and there is a texture to the wall, they kind of work together in a way. Like it's more of like a natural concrete look, I guess, that you can get away with. Neutrals are your friend. Do you want your own custom palette pyramid? Well, we offer it as a service. Link in the description down below if you want to get a custom 3, 6, or 12 color palette from me delivered to you. Check it out. Another option is the Landlord Special. Picking the same wall and trim color, or at least picking ones that are similar. Because what happens is it creates a more seamless look that minimizes the appearance of any imperfections. They all kind of blend in together. They're not really drawing too much attention. And that means they're not drawing attention to those imperfections in the wall. Some extra tips about imperfections. Unfortunately, it's going to take a bit of work because I got to tell you the importance of prep work. Even with the best paint colors and the finishes, oftentimes it's best to just fix the wall, especially if you're getting it repainted anyway. Proper preparation is essential for hiding imperfections. So some key steps to remember: fill in those holes and those dents. Use a spackle or patching compound to fill in any holes or dents in your walls, caulking on any gaps in the trim work. Sand those repaired areas to ensure a smooth surface, and then prime that surface after you're done to create a beautiful uniform base for your paint to help it adhere better. If you have a bedroom with a few small dents, don't paint it glossy black, okay? You'd be better off going with a nice light grayish flat finish, beautiful, classic, and airy. Hopefully I've equipped you with all the tips you need to make sure the imperfections on your wall are perfect the way they are, but just less noticeable. A little paint magic goes a long way, and I'll see you in the next video.